So, our final performance tonight is from the 9th-ranked 2016 woman poet in the World Poetry Slam. We have met quite a few times. She's such a lovely person, always interested and enthusiastic. She also uses her platforms to spread joy and self-love. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome onto the stage Crystal Valentine.
And the news reporter says, Jesus is white. She says it with a smile on her face, like it's the most obvious thing in the world. So sure of herself, of her privilege, her ability to change history, rewrite dead bodies to make them look like her. She says it the same way politicians say racism no longer exists, the same way police officers call dead black boys thugs, the same way white gentrifiers call Brooklyn home. She says it with an American accent, her voice doing that American thing, crawling out of her throat, reaching to clasp onto something that does not belong to her. And I laugh to myself. What makes a black man a black man? Is it a white woman's confirmation? Is it her head nod? Is it the way she's allowed to go on national television and autoquote the Bible and God himself tell him who his dead son really was? What makes a black man a black man? Is it the way reporters retell their deaths like fairy tales? The way their skulls split across pavement, the way they cannot outrun a bullet. How can she say Jesus was a white man when he died the blackest way possible? With his hands up, with his mother watching, crying at his feet, her tears, nothing more than gossip for the news reporters to profit, with his body left to sour in the sun, with his human stripped from his black. Remember that? How the whole world was saved by a black man, by a man so loved by God, he called him kin, called him black. Now ain't that suspicious? Ain't that newsworthy? Ain't that something worth being killed over? Hello. It's such an honor to be here. You guys, well, when I put my hand over my eyes, I can say that you guys look gorgeous. When I take my hand off, I cannot see because of the light. But you know, you guys look phenomenal tonight. How are you? How you doing? Yeah. I have a love-hate relationship with my country. Yes, good. So here's a poem about it. Black girl bathed in the blood of the free. He says he can tell I'm from the Bronx, and I smile because I'm a foreigner in this country. And that's what you do when you are in a place you don't belong. I didn't know I was American until I came to Paris. Here, they don't care that I'm black, but their eyes still linger on me a bit longer. He says Mike Tyson is from the Bronx, and I smile. He says he's Russian. I want to cock my neck, say, my country beat your country in a war and stole your name. And now you can't even remember the taste of your motherland's breast milk. But that's a childish thing to say, I know. A dangerous thing to say to a man who can spit in my face and call me a bitch. Or maybe that's just a foreigner thing. See, I'm so American, I can walk into another person's home and act like I built it. Thank you. So, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not good at speaking, but I'm good at poeting. A couple of days ago, I met someone, and they was asking me if I was going to do any queer poems. I said, of course. Do I have any queer folk in the audience? Yeah. Being queer is interesting, while also being black and woman. I feel like my identities are always fighting with each other. So yeah, here's a poem about that. I am black before woman in February. Woman before black on Sundays. Queer before black on Pride Day. My black stay posted up, sniper ready, perched on a balcony of my mouth, always prepared. My woman shudders in the center of my throat, backhand twitching, waiting for her turn to speak. My queer be playing ghost is only allowed in my house when my daddy ain't home. Always gets caught sneaking out the back window, running away from his shotgun. My identities segregate me, split me into thirds, hate being in the same place at the same time. I'm queer when getting my pussy sucked. Queer before black when I tell my girlfriend I love her. Black and never queer when I tell my mother I love her at family reunions, Thanksgiving dinners, poetry shows. They always fighting over my mouth. I am black when saying fuck you. Black when my tongue stumbles out my mouth like a fist fight. Black and not queer when Freddie Gray died. Queer before black when Rakia Boyd died. They always fighting over my trust. Sometimes I go to sleep a queer woman and wake up in a casket. Sometimes I go to sleep thinking about the Bible and wake up with my queer burning on the other side of the mattress. Sometimes it's my black holding the match. Sometimes it's my woman holding the water back. Black tells me it's my only, my origin, the first thing I see when I wake up. Woman tells me she's my future. Gave black its first breath. Queer is just happy we have not burned its seat from the table. My black and my queer don't even speak when they're in the same body together. I think black is jealous of all of queer's Instagram followers. Is afraid queer's dead bodies will get more likes and retweets. My queer, black, and woman could be murdered in the same ditch but think they'll attend different funerals. And isn't that what they want? Black cocks the gun, woman loads the bullet, queer pulls the trigger, and we all drop dead. So show of hands, who has ever heard of Afropunk? Yeah. Afropunk is very interesting. I feel like it's being whitewashed. What I learned at Afropunk 2015. Black girl loses her face. White girl finds it outside the mosh pit. Slips it on over her straight blonde hair, which morphs into a kinky afro that she can now touch without having to ask permission. White girl can finally Dougie. Can finally get information. White girl has on black girl's eyes, but still don't see color. Still can't see racism, even if it shot her in the face, even if it dragged her into a ditch, even if someone caught it on camera. White girl is so predictable. Black girl loses her body. Black man scoops it up, gropes it, bends it over. Black man does this while a crowd watches. Black man does this while wearing a dashiki, while wearing tribal face paint, while screaming Black Lives Matter, while listening to the blackest song at the blackest festival, while waving his black power fist in the air, the same black power fist he tries to shove down my throat. To this day, I'm afraid to tell this story in a room full of black bodies for fear of being called a traitor to the black struggle, for fear of being called a parasite, a crazy black woman, for fear of being kicked out of my own movement. I thought this was Afro-punk. Thought I was safe here. Thought I wasn't commodity here. Thought I could trust a black man's hands here. Thought I wouldn't have to steal my face back from a white woman's entitlement here. The lesson is you can still wear that shiki and be an ain't shit nigga. The lesson is there will always be a white woman lurking in the shadows, lusting after your body, wanting to try on your magic. The lesson is white people are not the only ones who have tried to kill me and hide my body, but I'm expected to stay silent because my murderer shares my same skin color. Black girl dies for the 5th time that day, and bystanders mistake the twitch of her body for an African dance, for ritual, for tradition. Us black girls are always dying in unexpected places, always making an inconvenience out of our womanhood. Everyone knows this. Whether it be at a black music festival or a Bill Cosby trial, the lesson is I went to Afro-punk and was molested by a black man in front of a crowd of people who shared my same color of burden, who watched me say no, who stared unblinking, who wouldn't even turn down the music. It's hard. I was trying to pick out poems to read, and I was like, I don't want them to think I hate black men. I don't want them to think that. I mean, I do too many of those poems, but y'all be having me fucked up, man. Like, for real, for real. I'm gonna do another poem. I'm gonna read it off my phone. I was afraid to do it. But, you know, I only got 20 minutes, and there's no time for fear. There's a hashtag going around. It's called Me Too. Have you heard of it? Yeah. For those who don't know, Me Too is a hashtag that's created for sexual assault survivors. I have a platform, I have this big stage, right? I want to say I see y'all, right? The sexual assault survivors, I see y'all, yes, but also, right? So I'm going to start this poem with a simple truth. I have been assaulted 3 times. 1, I killed a man last night with the sharp bridge of my teeth, had his blood rain dancing all over my shoes, reduced his body to a gasping puddle, had him saying my name like I was some god. And I was a god. I killed him, didn't I? 2, the judge asked why I did it. I say 3 times, judge, and of course, he don't understand me. The bastard is too busy eating his bagel, making sure I plead insane. They say there was an itch in my brain. I say there was an itch in my fingers. 3, he tells me to explain what I did. I say I shoved my hand down his throat, told him to swallow. Asked how's it feel to have the roles reversed. 1, of course, he ain't say nothing. 2, that's funny, the things hands can do to make you forget your breath. 3, he just stared at me until his eyes popped out his head and I started laughing. It felt good watching a man bleed for me. I ain't ever have that much power over no dick before, but yeah, I killed him. 1, the judge gets all sentimental. 2, asks me if I regret it. 3, I say regret ain't the moral of this story. He asks me where I hide the body. I say in the same place rapist hides the hymens. 1, the first time a guy tried to steal my body and I almost let him. The night remembers their faces, but no one else does. 2, the second time a finger found its way inside me, the air wouldn't even move from my screams. 3, the third time he thought I was just gonna stand there waiting to be labeled victim. I used his blood as lubricant. Drowned him in his own body. I am a god. He breathes when I say so. It doesn't matter that I killed a man. It matters that I waited so long to do it. Thank you. Can I get free? Can I get free? Yes. I'm going to call up my sister. Natalia, can you please come? Are you here? Here she comes. Can we give her a round of applause? I feel like I've experienced a lot of things in my life, as most people do. My mother, before I came here, she was in the hospital. She's sick. She struggles with alcoholism. And this is a poem for her.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child.
My mother tells me stories about myself from when I was a baby, how she almost died birthing me, and I would still cry whenever she held me. I suppose I was an ungrateful child. She would put her hands over my eyes and make me smell her, and then I would calm down. I was a feral thing, always more animal than baby. I would bite the hand that fed me and be upset when it let me starve. Nowadays, my mother swishes alcohol in her mouth and tells me she doesn't think I love her. Sometimes I agree. Sometimes I remember the obligations of a daughter. A child that does not love its mother is an abomination. She reminisces about me being in her stomach, how she didn't want to let me go, how she didn't want to cut the umbilical cord. She says she can still feel it connecting us. I say the umbilical cord is a phantom limb. I say I'm an abomination. The only time I let her hold me was when I was in her stomach. She says she doesn't think I love her. I say love was the ripping sensation of the doctors pulling me out of her. Love is the cat that eats its kittens after foreign hands touch it. Love is the wind God gave his son after the bad people stapled him to a cross. Love is that word parents use when they want forgiveness. She says forgiveness is love.
I feel
I say no.
like a
I say forgiveness is insanity. Forgiveness is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I remember when you came after Dad for a knife and he used me as a human shield. I remember how you turned my birthday into a drinking game and called it a surprise party. Remember how I was only 7 years old. She cries, apologizes for being a bad mother, swishes alcohol in her mouth and reminisces about me being in her stomach. She says motherhood is the joy of having more than one heartbeat. She says I will always be a part of her. I say I'm a phantom limb. She pulls me close. I say I'm an abomination. She puts her hand over my eyes. I say I'm a rotting nursery room. She holds me. I smell alcohol. I am forgiveness. Forgiveness is insanity. I am insane. Forgiveness. I am insane. Insanity is forgiveness. I forgave insanity. I am insanity. Forgiver. I forgave. I'm insane. 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 I forgive you.
I feel
I forgive you.
I feel
I forgive you.
sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes, oh, I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child.
Thank you. I encounter a lot of people who I have to forgive. And when I think about it, I forgive them not for them, but for myself, right? I forgive them because I forgive myself, because I'm not who or what happened to me. I am who I am right now, standing on the stage, right? Thank you so, so much for having me here. I'm going to do one more poem. So yeah, people always ask me where I'm from because I have an accent. Even in America, I have an accent. Oh, it's time. It's up. I can't do one more. I'm a rule breaker. I appreciate you. Long story short, when I was a kid, I had a speech impediment, and they trained me to speak American. And when I come here and I hear the different languages, I'm like, I used to speak like that until in school they told me I was wrong for speaking like that. So, bless American education, huh? And this is the last one. Little known fact, during the antebellum era, slaves were commonly described in two ways. First, by their appearance, their clothing or lack thereof, their weight and body size. Second, by their mouths, tongues, missing teeth, or in most cases, stutter. Little known fact, speech impediments can be caused by psychological trauma. Every person in my family carries a speech impediment like an heirloom. My mother is best known for her mouth, her swollen tongue, her teeth, or lack thereof that was knocked out and replaced after her first marriage. I am best known for my lisp. There are certain words I do not know how to say. I practice speaking in the mirror, familiarize myself with a language that draws blood to my gums. If I speak for too long, my mouth rusts. My mother took me to speech class because my teachers called me stupid, called me learning disability, called me case study therapist, called me lazy tongue, say I spoke with vowels chained by the limbs. I say, what has your degree taught you about change? I say, trauma never leaves the same way it enters. It anchors itself to the bone. Every tooth becomes an ancestor's skull. Their pain has settled in my blood, and I do not know how to release it. No matter how many dead bodies ago the suffering occurred, I do not know exactly why I started to lisp, but once I was made to pledge allegiance to a murderous flag, and my tongue has been limping ever since. I do not know why my vowels blister against their own heat, but once a man, let's call him America, placed 2 fingers in my mouth, held down my tongue, commanded me to speak. Little known fact, when you place a fist in the mouth, the tongue instinctively wraps around the knuckle. Water rushes in through the sides, slushes the letter S. Even save can sound like slave. Even a voice can drown. I do not have a lazy tongue. I have a tongue paralyzed from constant warfare. If you keep saying the same thing, then it loses its meaning. That's why my tongue makes me repeat my trauma differently every single time. They say, how are you American if you can't speak the language? I say I'm bilingual. Once death enters the mouth, every word spoken becomes a eulogy. Every name I call upon prepares for its funeral. I do not know if they're angry with me for butchering their language or resentful. I've managed to build a house out of a casket, and they can't play landlord. Little known fact, Emmett Till had a stutter. Sometimes when he stuttered too hard, he whistled. Sometimes I slur so hard, I hiss when they come for me. They will say I spoke in twisted tongues, the language of the damned, the language of the whipped and scarred, the living and the dead. They will say I spoke as if my tongue was a swaying body. I will say my tongue is a swaying body. And I get it from my mother. Thank you. And lastly, I would like to invite all of the poets who performed during the week onto the stage for a bow, please. Would you join me? This is the last time we're performing here. Tomorrow we'll be at the Bat Center, and I've learned so much from these people in the week that I've been here, and I'm so thankful for them. I'm so thankful for Poetry Africa. So please, thank you so much.
And ladies and gentlemen, her book, by the way, is on sale just outside Adam's book. You can purchase it for $150, and it'll be signed by yours truly, Crystal Valentine. Valentine. All right, so we have reached the end of tonight's program. One more time, let's give one big round of applause to our amazing poets.